As the spring approaches, Starmer faces mounting pressure to turn the tide for Labour. The upcoming OBR report, continued economic uncertainty, and Reform UK's rise in popularity mean that decisive action is necessary. However, whether a reshuffle will be enough to restore public confidence remains to be seen. One thing is certain. The coming months will be critical for Starmer's leadership and Labour's electoral prospects. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comment below. If you like my video, please press like button and subscribe for more.
Keir Starmer's
Hope I'll see leadership
of
the Labour Party is facing its most significant challenge yet, with reports emerging that he is preparing to axe Chancellor Reeves in a bombshell reshuffle. In a bold move designed to revive Labour's plummeting popularity, Starmer is said to be considering shifting Home Secretary Yvette Cooper to the Treasury in an effort to regain economic credibility and bolster confidence in his administration. The dramatic shakeup, which could take place as early as the spring, reflects growing concerns within the Labour leadership about the party's slipping poll numbers and an increasing challenge from Nigel Farage's Reform UK. Pat McFadden, a staunch Starmer loyalist and currently Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, is tipped to take over the Home Office as part of a strategic effort to address the ongoing immigration crisis. Defense Secretary John Healey is also reportedly on the chopping block amid disputes over defense spending, with Luke Pollard and former Royal Marine Alastair Cairns emerging as possible replacements. A Whitehall insider revealed, Keir needs to shake things up, and there is an active process going on to consider all the options. The first 6 months have been rough, and the poll ratings show that something needs to change. One of the key flashpoints has been Reeves's handling of the economy. Her Halloween budget was widely panned, and she has faced increasing backlash over controversial policy decisions, including the scrapping of the winter fuel payment for pensioners and a 20% inheritance tax hike impacting farmers and family businesses. Additionally, the Chancellor's decision to raise national insurance for employers has sparked fears of job losses, with some economists warning that the UK should be on recession watch. These concerns could be exacerbated by the upcoming Economic and Fiscal Forecast from the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, due on March 26th, which is expected to paint a grim picture of the economy. Despite public assurances from Downing Street that Reeves has Starmer's full confidence, speculation is mounting that her tenure as Chancellor may be coming to an end. While the Prime Minister's official spokesperson reaffirmed that she would remain in post for the whole of this Parliament, political observers note that such statements often precede major cabinet reshuffles. Labour's declining poll numbers have only added urgency to Starmer's considerations. A recent Sky News YouGov poll placed Reform UK ahead of both Labour and the Conservatives for the first time ever, with 25% of the vote. Labour trailed at 24%, while the Tories languished at 21%. The Liberal Democrats secured 14%, with the Greens just below 10%. This marks a dramatic turnaround from Labour's landslide victory on July 4th, when the party won 35% of the electorate. A further blow to Starmer is his own dwindling popularity. His net favourability rating has now fallen to 36, making him less popular than both Farage and Conservative leadership hopeful Kemi Badenoch, whose rating dropped to 29. Such figures underscore the growing discontent among voters and intensify calls for decisive action to regain public trust. In addition to domestic challenges, Starmer is reportedly considering reshuffling roles within Labour's broader political network. Former Foreign Secretary David Miliband has been linked to a potential return to frontline politics, with speculation that he could replace Peter Mandelson as president of the Global Council. Miliband was also rumoured to be a candidate for the UK's ambassadorship to Washington before the role was ultimately given to Mandelson. However, a Downing Street source dismissed these claims as nonsense from a fantasist. Starmer's focus remains on the economy and immigration, two issues that have become the Achilles heel of his government. Labour's promise to drive economic growth has yet to materialise, and the ongoing failure to curb illegal migration has fueled criticism. The party's perceived weakness in these areas has given Reform UK an opportunity to gain traction among disillusioned voters. If Starmer proceeds with his reshuffle, it will be a high-stakes gamble. Removing Reeves could signal a shift in economic strategy, but it could also create internal divisions within the party. Yvette Cooper's potential appointment as Chancellor would mark a significant change in direction, and it remains to be seen whether she could navigate the economic turbulence more effectively than Reeves. Similarly, placing McFadden at the Home Office would be a calculated move to project a tougher stance on immigration, but it is unclear whether it would be enough to reassure voters who have lost confidence in Labour's ability to tackle the issue. Defense policy is another contentious area, and replacing Healey with someone like Pollard or Carnes would reflect an attempt to bring in fresh perspectives amid ongoing debates about military spending. What's up? Welcome to GMA24 Update News Channel. Hope you will enjoy our news video. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here is the news title. Keir Starmer wants to axe Rachel Reeves in bombshell reshuffle. Exclusive. The Prime Minister is poised to unleash a major shakeup of his top team to revive Labour's plunging popularity and fight back against reform. Keir Starmer wants to axe Rachel Reeves as Chancellor in a major shakeup of his top team to revive Labour's plunging popularity. In a shock move, the Prime Minister is considering moving Home Secretary Yvette Cooper to the Treasury to boost the country's economic fortunes. His reshuffle would see Starmer loyalist Pat McFadden, currently the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, shift to the Home Office as the government seeks to get a grip on the immigration crisis. Defense Secretary John Healey is also facing the bullet because of an ongoing defense spending row. The merry-go-round means Luke Pollard could replace Healey at the MOD, with Labour newbie and former Royal Marine Alistair Carnes tipped for a defense role. Insiders say an active process is going on as Sir Keir considers how and when to execute a reshuffle, which is most likely to happen in the spring. A Whitehall source said, Keir needs to shake things up, and there is an active process going on to consider all the options. They added, there is no doubt that the first 6 months have been pretty rough, and the poll ratings show that. Something needs to change. The source said that former Foreign Secretary David Miliband could replace Peter Mandelson as president of the Global Council. Mr. Miliband was understood to be on the shortlist to become the UK's new US ambassador in Washington, a role eventually given to Mr. Mandelson. But a Downing Street source dismissed the speculation as nonsense from a fantasist. Ms. Reeves has come under intense pressure since her Halloween budget horror show, with her policies deeply unpopular and politically damaging. Her decision to scrap the winter fuel payment for pensioners has been met with a furious backlash, as has her move to clobber farmers and family businesses with a 20% inheritance tax rate. The Chancellor's national insurance hike to employers has also sparked fears of a surge in unemployment this year, with some economists warning the economy should be on recession watch. A further pinch point is due next month, when the OBR, the government's spending watchdog, publishes its economic and fiscal forecast on March 26th. If, as is expected, the news is grim, the Chancellor could be forced to squeeze departmental spending again, further infuriating cabinet colleagues. Last month, Sir Keir said he had full confidence in Ms. Reeves, but would not be drawn on whether she would stay in post until the next general election. Downing Street was forced to clarify that she will stay on as Chancellor for the whole of this Parliament. The PM's official spokesperson said the pair will work together throughout the whole of this Parliament. Pressed if that meant working together with Ms. Reeves as Chancellor, the spokesman replied, yes, he said. The PM was explicit this morning. The Chancellor is doing a fantastic job and will work throughout the whole of this Parliament in delivering for working people, and has the PM's full confidence. Labour's big pitch to voters has been its promise to drive economic growth, but a flatlining economy plus the government's failure to tackle the UK's immigration crisis has seen Labour and Sir Keir's popularity tumble. Earlier this week, Nigel Farage's Reform UK topped a landmark poll, coming ahead of Labour and the Tories for the first time ever. Reform now sits on 25%, with Labour second on 24%, and the Tories in third on 21%, according to the Sky News YouGov survey. The Conservatives are on 21%, with Lib Dems are on 14%, and the Greens just narrowly below 10%. It is a dramatic slide in fortunes for Labour, which cruised to a landslide on July 4th, with 35% of the electorate. Furthermore, Mr. Farage has a net favorability rating of 27, whereas Badenoch dropped to 29 this month. The Prime Minister is less popular than both his main rivals, with his net favorability rating now as low as 36.